Tashidele, many auspicious greetings, wishes for the Buddha Purnima day. So we are going to do the observance of Aspirational Bodhisattva vow together collectively. One, to celebrate the great teacher, the Buddha Shakyamuni, his birth, enlightenment, and Mahaparinirvana, the three very sacred the activities of the Buddha all happened on the same day, very auspicious, a very holy day, and also that we take this opportunity to combat the coronavirus, COVID-19, and for the healing of all the people who are struggling, who are going through the fears, anxiety, anguish, and so forth. So with this in mind, first I'll begin by making 3 prostrations, and anybody from anywhere in the world, you can take part in this program, and to make the most of this program collectively, we accumulate incredibly positive karmas, positive merits to combat the collective negative karma which resulted in this spread of the coronavirus. So I would highly recommend that people take part in this with me. And as after making the prostrations, I sit down to give a little bit of intro, and then total it'll be like 1.5 hours to 140 minutes. So this is going to be just one time in a program, and very, very great opportunity for me, for all of us. Okay. So we can begin with 3 prostrations to all Bodhisattvas. Then after the prostration, then offering lights and offering incense. Okay, once again, today corresponds to the Vesak day, the Sagadawa, the very auspicious and extremely sacred day, which corresponds to 3 important events of the Buddha's biography. One, the Buddha's birth. Number 2, the Buddha's enlightenment. Number 3, the Buddha's Mahaparinirvana, which means the passing away, leaving the world. So this is what we call as the assuming the Mahaparinirvana. For the Buddha, there's no death, there's no passing away. But I say where the moon and the reflection of the moon, when the water dries up, then the reflection of the moon disappears. It's not that the source of the reflection disappears. Source of the reflection, the moon, is always there. Likewise, the Buddha is always there. When, just as our mind, whether this mind takes the form, this physical form, or the later a different form, otherwise the mind per se remains forever. Likewise, the Buddha's mind, there is no death to the Buddha. So we say, assuming Mahaparinirvana. So the Buddha himself indicated that whosoever does virtues on these sacred days, holy days, will accrue so much of merit. And what we are doing today is the one time in a year accumulation of merit, and that to collective the karma that we're accumulating to combat the effect of the coronavirus, the fear, anxiety, anguish created by coronavirus. And keep in mind that the coronavirus, the spread of coronavirus, it all happened because of the short-term reasons and the long-term reasons. Short-term reasons, of course, one, the negligence on the part of the same, initially in China, total negligence and then cover up. That was the whole mistake made. But then it is when the collective karma hits us, then we can't do as much. So it happened there, and then all this negligence and the mistakes happened, and then the whole world is suffering. One. And then they say, and so how it happened there also is the one. There are several theories. One, because of the wet market there, wet market, and then from there all these animals, seen as the foods. Everything moves is seen as food. This is so unfortunate on the part of the humanity, on the part of human beings, and that involves cruelty to the animals and no love and affection. The cruelty is the cause of the immense, intense negative karma. Then otherwise, the second theory is the bioweapon. Again, cruelty, or the motivation of cruelty to harm other humanities, not seeing the world as interdependent. So what if it's the case, now we are experiencing the effect of the collective, very intense, very strong collective negative karma, and we have to fight it. And how to combat this is only through introduce the counter force. And the counter force, of course, the governments, the respective governments, they take the measures to curb this. Meanwhile, it's very important on the part of the UNO, WHO, and I don't know how the WHO is operating at the moment, whether it is, it is operating in an unbiased way. These are all questionable. These are all questions. These are all questionables. Then the respective governments, they are taking the measures to curb this coronavirus. These are the what we can empirically do. Then on the other hand, the ultimate cause of this is what is unseen, is the collective karma, collective negative karma. And the collective negative karma, how to curb this is only through introducing the counter force. And the counter force, given that this is of the nature, this collective karma is the nature of the cruelty, and our the cruelty in the past. So now it must be done by introducing the counter force, which is filled with love and affection, and all the measures are said, like His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the blessed, and also the advised people to recite Aratara mantra, and then the various teachers, they did their best to to help the people, to let them come out of the fear, anxiety, by initiating some programs, empowerment, prayers, and so forth. These are all so good. In fact, we have to collectively do something, something to curb this negative, the karma, to which made the outburst, which was responsible for the outburst of this coronavirus. And now everybody, whole world, going through the crisis of fear, anxiety, and so many deaths happened. And then how many are going to die, we don't know, and how many are there in the hospitals, and how many live in the fears, how many lost their job, how many hardly find anything to eat, and the animals, how they suffer. So this is all what you can do is to introduce the counterforce of the loving kindness. And this practice of loving kindness collectively, no doubt, will have an incredible power. And what we're doing today is we're doing another auspicious day, the Buddha's, the Vesak day, the very auspicious day, and then the merit that we collectively accumulate will be multiplied so much, and to that extent the virus will be contained in different possible ways. One could be that the vaccine or the treatment can be developed sooner because of this effect, number one. Then number two, that the actual control of this through the lockdown and so forth can be more efficient, and people psychologically, feeling like, feeling like obeying to this the lockdown, the decree or the advisory from the various governments. So with these, then the benefit is going to be experienced more quickly. Okay, so with this in mind, what are we going to do here as part of this, which we did already last time? And so in between, when we do initially it's going to be a little bit of prayer recitations. Then number two is the actual practice of the 4 seals for renunciation, then the 4 immeasurables for bodhicitta, then the wisdom of emptiness, and before that, before all these 3, is the single-pointed meditation. This is what we're going to do. And then after this, following this is going to be the actual ceremony for taking the Aspirational Bodhisattva vow. For this, it involves we all standing up to make 3 prostrations to all Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and then sitting on the right knees. When you sit on the right knees, as an auspicious gesture, we'll do the sit on the right knees, and then after a while, because it may take a little time, if you feel a little painful, then sit in your most comfortable position. That's fine. Whereas those who have knee problem, no need to do that. You can just mentally the most important thing is cultivating the thought process, cultivating the compassionate thought process by following instructions. So that's the most important thing. So that's it. So with this in mind, what we're doing today is, of course, it corresponds to this very auspicious day. Meanwhile, let us keep in mind that this is not just the one time in a year. This is like a sample for us. This is like an example. We can do the same thing. We can do the same thing, if possible, every day. If not once in a week. If not once in a month. Once in a month, we can do something doable. And this is the wisest thing that you're doing for your own benefit, and of course for the benefit of the world as well, but no doubt for yourself, for your family, and for everybody who knows you directly. So this is how we can spread this virtue, and for your own benefit, for your own healing. This is incredibly powerful practice. Let's not forget it. Okay, so with this in mind, setting up proper motivation. So we are using the text, and hopefully you all have the text downloaded. Okay, this is the book, The Blaze of Non-Dual Bodhicittas. All the practice that we're going to do is going to be not really based, will be done by using this book. So, this book, and you all should have it, the soft copy or the hard copies. If not, at least last time during the last ceremony, we extracted some pages which are directly relevant for this ceremony. So that also, I hope you all got it. If you have them, what I would suggest is, if possible, try to have this hard copy with you. And many of you use the iPad and so forth, you can use that. Otherwise, even just few pages extracted from this book can be also useful. So this is what I'm going to use. And okay, now setting a proper motivation. For that matter, 3 points to keep in mind. One is refuge field. Number 2, the Bodhicitta field. Number 3, the purpose of this practice. 1, the refuge field. Visualize Buddha Shakyamuni in a sky in front of you, and His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. And how you visualize them, that makes a whole difference. That they are so loving, affectionate parents. And imagine that you come home demoralized, and your parents are waiting there to give full love, affection, and attention. Bodhicitta field. Visualize your 2 parents on the 2 sides, and all your family members, your children, and all the family members around you, and all sentient beings living on the other side. And here, you are the mother, and all others are like children. And imagine that they come home demoralized, and you are there to give full love, affection, attention, and embrace. And the purpose of this practice, twofold. Number 1, to curb the effect of the coronavirus by collectively accumulating enormous virtue karma of compassion, of bodhicitta, and then thus relieving everyone who are going through anxiety, anguish, fear, and so forth. All those who are being affected by this coronavirus, may they all come back to normalcy with a very healing very healed being. And then the long-term benefit, to eventually for each of us to awaken this treasured Buddha nature within us. Buddha nature which exists within everyone, whether you are male or female, it doesn't matter. Everybody has it. And then whether you are the believer or non-believer, it doesn't matter. What belief you follow, it doesn't matter. Everyone has this ultimate treasure of happiness within oneself, known as the Buddha nature, Tathagata Garbha. It is there within everyone. So that has to be activated. Once that is activated, you accomplish your final aspiration, that is to achieve the state of total fearlessness and the infinite happiness. You're going to experience that. So that's the long-term plan. Once you have this, then you are in a position to benefit innumerable, infinite number of sentient beings, the way the Buddha Shakyamuni did it. One prince, just a prince from a simple kingdom, he awakened this Buddha nature inside fully, and now, over the last 2,500 years, he has been benefiting the beings, billions and billions and billions of human beings, non-human beings, the spirits and so forth, helping all the beings to awaken the spirit, to awaken this seed of perfection within them. So this is how you can do by following his footsteps. So with this in mind, let us turn to page 3. Enthused by great compassion, you taught the immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. So as I read this, if you have the book with you, if you have the the handout with you, very good. If you don't have it, don't worry, just listen to what we are doing and then try to follow the meaning, try to activate the meaning of what we are reading. And then if possible, say let your mind flow in the words, let your mind flow in the meanings, and then let your mind flow in the experiences. So this is what if you can do, you will read the maximum benefit out of our being together on this auspicious day. And teach by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. And teach by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. Sangye choda zoge chonamda chancho pardo dane gyaksu che dage jinso kebe chonamge choda penjere sangye drubara isho sangye choda zoge chonamda chancho pardo dane gyaksu che dage jinso kebe chonamge Tola penjere sangye drubare sho sangye choda tsoge chonamna chancho pardo dane gyatso che dage jinso gebe chonamge Tola penjere sangye drubare sho. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma and the Sangha by my accumulations to the practice of giving and so forth. May I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma and the Sangha. By my accumulations to the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma and the Sangha. By my accumulations to the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. And the next stanza is this stanza written by Aranigarjuna in praise of Buddha Shakyamuni for having taught the concept of dependent origination and emptiness to curb, to eradicate all the fears of life and take the beings to the ultimate state of happiness. In dependent origination, there is no ceasing, no arising, no annihilation, no permanence, no coming, no going, no separateness and no sameness. I prostrate to the consummate Buddha, the supreme among all teachers, the one who taught this peace, which is free of elaborations. I prostrate to the mothers of the hearers, the Bodhisattvas and the Buddhas, who through the knowledge of all these hearers seeking pacification, complete peace, who through the knowledge of paths causes those helping my greatest to achieve the aims of the world, and who through the possession of omniscience helps subdue and expound the varieties of teachings. The one who is transformed into the reliable guide, motivated by altruism to benefit sentient beings, the teacher, Sugata, protector, to you are my prostrations. The one who has eliminated the web of conceptualizations and is endowed with the divine bodies of the vast and the profound, who eternally shines forth the forever noble light race, to you the Buddha I make prostrations. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind of full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. Okay, this mantra, the Yedharma mantra, the meaning of which is all phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata, the cessation of the causes as well is taught by the great seer. So this gives a very clear picture now on the related, which we can relate to the coronavirus, the crisis, all these problems, they arise from the causes. They do not arise randomly. The immediate causes, the Wuhan, and the negligence or there. And then the long-term cause, the real cause is our collective negative karma accumulated from the past. So, and the cessation of these causes as well is taught by the great seer. How to get rid of this? This is also taught by the Buddha by teaching us how to embrace the compassion grounded on the wisdom of emptiness. Okay, let us recite this wholeheartedly and imagine that all sentient beings, they are doing this, they are saying this together, including the people who are there in Wuhan and the people who are responsible, officials who are actually responsible for the spread. Let them also take part in this, because that the amount of negative karma that they accumulated, we will help them by including them in this prayer. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham tathagato yavatat tesham chayo nirodham evam vati mahashramanaye swaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham tathagato yavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye swaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham tathagato yavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye swaha. All phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata. The cessation of the causes as well is taught by the great seer. Okay, the next stanza is said by the Buddha related to how profound this dharma is, the wisdom of emptiness, and which alone is the path to liberation, to liberate all the beings from suffering. Okay, profound, peaceful, elaboration-free, clear-eyed and non-composite. Such is the nectar like dharma I've discovered. Finding no one to fathom this teaching, in silence I'll return woods. Beyond utterance, thought and expression is the professional wisdom, which is unborn, unceased, and has the nature of space. Is the object of apprehension of self-realized wisdom. To you, the mother of the Buddhas of the three times, are obeisance. All composite things are impermanent. All contaminated things are of the nature of suffering. All phenomena of nature, emptiness is selflessness. Transcending sorrow is peace. The Guru is the Buddha, the Guru is the Dharma, likewise the Guru is the Sangha. The Guru is the source of everything wholesome. I go for refuge in the Guru. By the sound of the vibrant drum of Dharma, you liberate all beings of miseries. I beseech you to kindly remain and give teachings until the end of the expanse of billions of aeons. The Buddha does not watch the negativities of beings, nor does he remove their miseries by his hands. His spiritual realizations are not transferred to them. It is by teaching the truth of the suchness that the beings are liberated. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered miseries gloom. If attached to this life, you are not a spiritual practitioner. If attached to samsara, you have no renunciation. If attached to your own self-interest, you have no bodhicitta. If there is grasping, you do not have the view. Okay, page 14, the praise to Shakyamuni Buddha. So as we say this praise to the Buddha Shakyamuni, it is like looking for the correct path which the Buddha Shakyamuni discovered and then taught accordingly. We'll also follow his footsteps to inculcate the compassion, the wing of compassion, unconditional compassion, and the wing of the wisdom to see the reality as it is, and then on that basis cross the shore of samsara to the state of ultimate nirvana for yourself and for all beings. To the founder, the endowed transcendent destroyer, one gone beyond, the four destroyer, the completely perfected, full awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sugata, no other world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you, the completely and full awakened one, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subdued from the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings and go for refuge. When, O supreme amongst humans, you are born on this earth, you place out 7 strides, then set them supreme in this world. To you who are wise then, I prostrate. With pure bodies, form supremely pure, wisdom ocean like a golden mountain, fame that blazes in the 3 worlds, winner of the best, Lord, to you I prostrate. with the supreme science, face like a spotless moon, color like gold to your prostrate. Dusty like you, the three worlds are not, incomparable wise one, to you are prostrate. The Savior having great compassion, the Founder having all understanding, the field of marriage with qualities like vast ocean, to you the Tathagata I prostrate. The purity that frees one from attachment, the virtues that frees one from the lower realms, the one path, the sublime pure reality, to the Dhamma that pacifies and prostrate. Those who are liberated and also show the path to liberation, the holy field qualified with realizations, who are devoted to the moral precepts, to you the Sangha I prostrate. Do not commit any non-virtuous actions, perform only perfect virtuous actions. Subdue mind thoroughly. This is the teaching of the Buddha. A star, a visual aberration, a flame of lamp, an illusion, a drop of dew or bubble, a dream, a flash of lightning, a cloud. See conditioned things as such. Through these merits, may sentient beings attain the rank of all-seeing, subdue the four faults, and be delivered from samsara's ocean, perturbed by the waves of aging, sickness, and death. Okay, let us recite the Heart Sutra mantra 7 times. And as we recite this, if possible, we have to read the Heart Sutra, the whole Heart Sutra, but we will just recite the Heart Sutra mantra. Meanwhile, to reap the full benefit of this, visualize as follows: that we are all on Vulture's Peak, the Buddha Shakyamuni presiding over the gathering, and out of Lokiteshvara on one side, and out of the Shariputra on the other side, and all the monks, bodhisattvas, the nuns, the monks, nuns, bodhisattvas, and all the lay devotees, all sentient beings are there, and you are one of them. And imagine that the Buddha Shakyamuni, while being deeply immersed into the ultimate reality, imbued with the spirit of incredible, infinite compassion, was all sentient beings. The Buddha exhorts thus: don't remain in the face of samsara. Come towards the ultimate happiness. And you hearing this melodious voice of the Buddha Shakyamuni, you're so inspired and healed. You inform this to your two parents, your children, your family members, and all sentient beings. Look, this is what a great compassionate teacher Buddha Shakyamuni is exhorting us. Let us not remain in the fears of samsara anymore. And everyone, all sentient beings, including those who passed away to this coronavirus, the COVID-19, and all those who are suffering right now in the hospitals, and everybody who is badly affected by this coronavirus, everybody listening to what you're saying, they feel the feeling of sigh of relief, and they all follow, so happily follow you on this journey of achieving full enlightenment, full awakening, to be freed from all fears of life, and to have the maximum infinite happiness. Okay, with that in mind, let's recite this together. Those of you who know how to recite this, join me, and those of you who cannot, who do not know how to do this, just listen to us, and then you can join us. And those of us who have already learned about, studied, reflected to some extent of the wisdom of emptiness, in the process of reciting this Gade means, okay, go, don't stay in samsara, don't stay in the experience of suffering, move from the state of suffering to the greater state of happiness, to the greater, still greater, and towards the ultimate happiness. So there, it has to be done. This upgradation happens only by the force of bodhicitta, grounded on renunciation, and the reinforcement of the wisdom of emptiness. Just try to recall the experience of emptiness once in a while as we recite this. So this is actually the journey. Go, gate, paragate, parasamgate, bodhiswam. Go beyond, go utterly beyond, and establish your full awakening or enlightenment. Iltham gate, paragate, paragate,
Samgati Bodhiswatyatha Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati 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 Bodhiswatyatha. Okay, now we will read. Okay, we'll read the page 40, mantle offering, short mantle offering. We'll read this. Mantle offering, primarily the purpose is to accumulate enormous merit for us to undertake this journey, Gade Gade. So for that matter, we're offering this, the mandala. Mandala means the whole world, everything good that you can imagine in this world, to all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Okay. This ground anointed with perfume, strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, the four continents, the sun and the moon. I imagine this as a Buddha filled and offer it. May all sentient beings enjoy this pure land. The next two, the passages are so important. It's about the essence of what you're going to do here. The first four Dhammas of Venerable Gambupa. May I be blessed that my mind is directed towards the Dharma. May I be blessed that my Dharma practice is on the proper path. May I be blessed that the path is free of flaws. May I be blessed that the flaws are seen in the light of exalted wisdom. Becoming, okay, now the four main points of your journey of the spirituality. So for somebody to really fulfill your ultimate aspirations, the fearlessness and the infinite happiness, then these 4 points must be there within us. And each one of these 4 points, renunciation, bodhicitta, wisdom of emptiness, and the non-dual wisdom of the non-duality of bliss and emptiness. So this form, each one of them, as to what they mean, they are very clearly enumerated in the following 4 lines. Okay. Becoming utterly frustrated with the ignorance that grasps at true existence, please bless me to generate genuine renunciation, seeing all aspects of samsara as viciously repulsive. Please bless me that my mind stream overflows with the precious bodhicitta that cherishes others more than myself. Please bless me to have an immaculate experience of the wisdom of emptiness that does not see even an atom of intrinsic reality, on the basis of understanding how things come into being by dependent origination through mere conditioning. Please bless me that my mind stream overflows with the precious wisdom of the non-duality of bliss and emptiness. Edam Guru Rana Mendela Gamne Ratiyami. Okay, page 42, the foundation of all good qualities. So this is the finally, if you were to ask me, so just tell me the blueprint of my Dharma practice. and in detail. I would say that these 4 stanzas are written by Lama Tsongkhapa in the form of the foundation of all good qualities. This is going to be like blueprint, all the details of the roadmap of your spirituality. Okay. The foundation of all good qualities is the kind and the perfect pure Guru. Correct devotion to him is the root of the path. By clearly seeing this and applying great effort, please bless me to rely upon him with great respect. Understanding that the precious freedom of this rebirth is found only once, is greatly meaningful and it's difficult to find again. Please bless me to generate the mind that unceasingly, day and night, takes its essence. This life is as impermanent as a water bubble. Remember how quickly it decays and death comes. After that, just like a shadow follows the body, the results of virtuous and non-virtuous karma follow. Finding firm and definite conviction in this, please bless me always to be careful, to abandon even the slightest negativity and accomplish all virtuous deeds. Samsaric splendors are unsatisfying and unreliable. Seeking them is the door to all suffering. Recognizing these shortcomings, please bless me to generate the strong wish for the bliss of liberation. Led by this pure thought, mindfulness, alertness, and great caution arise. The root of the teaching is keeping the breath of moksha vows. Please bless me to accomplish this essential practice. Just as I have fallen into the sea of samsara, so fall mother my greater beings. Please bless me to say this, train in Supreme Bodhicitta, and bear the responsibility of freeing my greater beings. Even if I develop Bodhicitta, but I don't practice the 3 types of morality, I'll not achieve enlightenment. With my clear recognition of this, please bless me to practice the Bodhisattva vows with great energy. Once I pacify the distractions to wrong objects and correctly analyze the meaning of reality, please bless me to generate quickly within my mind stream the unified path of karma abiding and special insight. Having become a pure vessel by training in the general path, please bless me to enter the holy gateway of the fortunate ones, the supreme Vajra vehicle. At that time, the basis of accomplishing the 2 attainments is keeping pure vows and samaya. As I become firmly convinced of this, please bless me to protect these vows and pledges along my life. Then, having realized the importance of these the 2 stages, the essence of Vajrayana, by practicing this with great energy, never giving up the 4 sessions, please bless me to realize the teachings of the Holy Guru. Like that, may the Gurus who show the noble path and the spiritual friends who practice it have long lives. Please bless me to pacify completely all outer and inner hindrances. In all my lives, never separated from perfect Gurus, may I enjoy the magnificent Dharma by completing the qualities of the stations and the paths, may I quickly attain the state of Vajradhara. Okay, now generating the mind of concentration yoga. Okay, 5 minutes. 5 minutes breathing meditation. 5 minutes breathing meditation. So since most of you already know you know some form of meditation, to give a very quick instruction on the meditation. One is the body posture. Number 2 is the focal point. Number 3, identifying the errors of meditation. Number 4, applying the remedies to overcome the errors. Number 1, body posture. Just sit very comfortably, okay, and the cross-leg possible. If not, on the chair is also fine. And then body upright. If possible, don't lean against the support. Just keep it upright, and your eyes not closed. Eyes half open, 4 or 5 degrees cast down, and then the tongue touch the upper palate to breathe normally, and your right hand on your left hand, tips of 2 thumbs joining, forming a triangle. Place the 2 hands on the laps in restful state. So this is your body posture. And then the next is the focal point. What we're going to meditate on is, okay, some of you already know bodhicitta, emptiness, and the many other meditations. You can do your own way. And others who are more beginners, then we'll just focus on the breath. Just focus on the breath. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Okay, so breathe in, breathe out is 1 cycle. We just continue doing this for 5 minutes. 5 minutes is going to be like, for some people it can be 60 cycles, for others like between 60 to 90 cycles, depending on the length of your breath. And this is what we're going to do for 5 minutes. Okay, ready? And after this, okay, yeah, ready. Okay, now we switch to the practice of renunciation, which we do on the basis of the four seals. Again here, what we do is we stop ruminating over the past experiences and we disengage ourselves from the sensory engagements, and then we stop anticipating for anything of the future. Just be in the present moment. This is what we're going to do. Okay. So renunciation, the meaning of the renunciation is to renounce your suffering. And it's not to renounce the happiness, to renounce the suffering. To renounce the suffering, we need to know what the causes of the suffering are, and then we need to learn how to get rid of the cause of suffering, or to renounce the cause of suffering. And the best way by which to do so is by meditating on the four seals. Okay, with that in mind, it's going to be a guided meditation. Just follow the instructions and try best to invoke the respective experiences. Okay, ready? All composite things are impermanent. Composite things constitute of those which are created or constituted of particles, material particles and the temporal particles. Temporal particles like the mind, the moments of the mind. So anything which is composed of these particles or these segments are known as composite phenomena, and anything which is composite phenomena should necessarily be impermanent in nature. And impermanence, there are two kinds, the evident impermanence and the subtle impermanence. Evident impermanence is the impermanence whose continuum comes to the end, and the subtle impermanence constitute what is transitory, what involves transitoriness, what involves momentary changes. In other words, all impermanent phenomena should necessarily have the subtle impermanence underscoring, and okay. So it's important for us to meditate on both. The first, the evident impermanence. All the beautiful things that we experience in our life, they're all very transitory. Our youth, when we were 5 years old, 10 years old, 20 years old, who are already in their 30s or 40s. When you were 5 years younger, when you were 10 years ago, it was much more physically stronger and mentally more fresh. And they're all gone. And today, there are 7 billion human beings on this earth. 200 years ago, minimum there are 4 billion or 5 billion human beings on this earth. And today, not even a single person from that day survived. They're all gone. 200 years down in the future from today, not even a single one from the 7 billion human beings will survive them, that's for sure. Except for 1 or 2 persons on this earth today. 99.9% of the people, they will all be forgotten after 200 years. The next generation will come. They will not even have a clue as to who these people are, who these people were. This is impermanence. And recently somebody sent a very poignant, extremely well made, the train of a life is so beautifully made. Saying, this train of life, we go there, we enter this train, and we met our parents. And we met many people. Then on some station, the parents get off. Then again we meet many more people. Your children, your grandchildren, so forth. Again you get off. So we see that many people, they come, come, go in our life. This is very true. One day it is going to be our turn to get off from the train. This is the impermanence. This is the reality of life. And this impermanence, the changes that we see around, some changes are very painful, some changes are pleasant, and even the pleasant, they disappear, again painful. All these changes should necessarily have the underscoring momentary changes, the subtle changes. The change that you see over the aeons, like the evolution of the universe, which happened over the span of 15 billion years, is possible only if there are changes happening on the yearly basis. Possible only with the monthly basis, weekly basis, daily basis, hourly basis, minute by minute basis, second by second basis, and then millisecond by millisecond basis, and nanosecond basis, and so forth. So we see that all what is composite phenomena should necessarily be moving that fast. This change is happening there. Momentary change is happening. And if you really reflect on this, it's like vibration. Your body is like vibration. Everybody else is like vibration. The whole world is like vibration. And this, but we don't see them as like this vibration because we are all obscured by our, say, the gross, the senses. The reality is that they're all like in the constant flux of change of vibrations. It's quite scary. This is what the Buddha referred to as all composite things impermanent. Given that all composite things are like vibrations, which means that they don't remain static, they constantly move to the next state, which means they move to the next state of the result. So what the result is going to be like is determined by the cause. So in our case, imagine that you are a stranger picks you up and then throws you into a very fast moving train. What do you feel? For sure, very scared, very afraid. And the first question that will come to you is, where is this train taking me? If the train driver, it depends on the driver, and the driver or the person who dictates the driver. If the driver is your mother, and not under influence of anybody else, but just your mother as the driver, no doubt this train will take you to the picnic spot. But if this train is either the driver is the terrorist or your mother, but under influence of the terrorist, for sure these terrorists will take you to the slaughterhouse. Unfortunately for us, this driver, although our mind is the driver, and this mind is under the hands of the worst of the terrorists, worst of the demons, self-grasping, ignorance, and self-centered attitude. And these two will only take us to miseries. These two are the worst of the contaminations, and these will only take us to miseries. This is what the Buddha referred to as all contaminated things are of suffering nature. What kind of suffering? Sickness, aging, tension, anxiety, anguish, depression, and the fear of coronavirus. All these are the resultant experiences of pain, the pain of losing near and dear ones. Acutely painful experience. One moment of such pain is good enough just to nullify all the past moments of merriment, celebrations, festivities, parties, birthday parties, wedding parties, and so forth. They're all just like deceptions in the face of this one moment of the tragedy of losing your near and dear ones. This is what the Buddha referred to as all contaminated things of suffering nature. Yes, that's true. Is there a way out? When will this ever come to an end? Until we put an effort, it will never come to an end. It's just like a cycle. This is why it is known as samsara, the wheel of life, the wheel of existence. Then how can you bring an end to this? To bring an end to these miseries, we have to know that these miseries come into being by the causes. We have to bring an end to the causes. And the ultimate cause of these miseries is the self-grasping ignorance. How to bring an end to this self-grasping ignorance? Ignorance being like darkness, For to eradicate darkness, it is only to introduce the light. Likewise, it is only through introducing the light of the wisdom that the darkness of ignorance can be eradicated. What kind of wisdom to be introduced? Yes. Okay. One. This wisdom that we're going to introduce is referred to as the discerner mind, whose apprehension of the object tallies with the reality. What's the reality? The reality is what the Buddha indicated as the third seal. Everything is of the nature of emptiness and selflessness, saying that everything is like a dream. When you're in the dream, you're tormented by the dream. The dream goes constantly torments you. Whereas when you see the dream as a dream, to see the dream as dream comes from your mind, which happens only when you wake up, your fear dissolves. To see the dream, the reality of the dream as dream is coming from the subject, from your mind, as subject real, the fear automatically dissolves. To see the dream as real, as objective, the fear increases. The fear is given rise to. This is how it works. So all the pains of samsara are because of this ignorance of seeing this object real. How to get rid of this? Okay, by seeing everything like an illusion, by seeing everything like a dream, by seeing everything as the nature of emptiness and selflessness. Okay, let's quickly meditate on emptiness of the self. What are you doing? I'm meditating. What is mind doing? What is your mind doing? It's also meditating. How does this self appear to you? How did this person who you identified as I appear to you? As like a dream coming from your mind, like the movie projected from the projector, or something so real, objectively there as this I. Of course, so objectively there as I, not at all like a dream, not at all like a movie projected by the projector. This belief is known as self-grasping ignorance. This is the root of all the root of all suffering. How can I know that this is ignorance? How can I know that this is not the reality? This is not the correct perception. How can I know that this is ignorance? Yes. Okay. If this self, which you identify as I, if it were to exist objectively, remember what Arjuna said. If the mirage were to be water, why not those close by the mirage see water? In like manner, if this person who identifies I to be existing as objectively, why not I see this person as I go closer to this object? Okay, let us now go closer to the object to see where this I is. And anything which is not this I, we're going to just ignore. We're going to look for we go objectively there and then see where this I is. Okay, going closer to the object, we see just a thin layer of skin. Of course, that is not me. Then behind that is a fatty tissues, not me. Behind that, muscles, cartilages, blood vessels, the skeleton, the heart, the brain, lungs, liver, gallbladder, pancreas, spleen, intestines, large intestine, small intestine, stomach. None of these solid parts is this me. So these solid parts constitute the element earth. Element earth is not me. Element water, the blood, 4 liters of blood, which is pumped in and out by the heart to the different parts of the body. Of course, that is not me. Keep that aside. Element of fire, 2,500 joules of energy, which our body has. Even this is also not me. Keep that aside. Element of air, 4.7 liters of air that we breathe in and out through our lungs. Of course, that is not me. Keep that aside. Element space, 99.9% of your body is made of is just empty space. But I'm not empty space. I'm a solid person. The space is a vacuum. I'm not the space. Keep that aside. What is left now? Only the consciousness or the mind is left. Even this consciousness or the mind is also not me. I'm a male. I'm a female. The consciousness does not have a gender. So therefore I'm not this consciousness or the mind. And this, people can see me, people cannot see my mind. So this also is the reason to say that this consciousness is not me. Okay. Now bring these 6 elements to your mind's eye. Which of the 6 elements is person? None. Okay, if none, then keep them aside. Now you come too close to this object, keeping aside the 6 elements. What is left there is the self. Nothing is left there. So these two are the only alternatives for something to exist objectively, for the self to exist objectively. And since that none of these two hold true, so therefore the self from the object is not really, it's just an illusion, it's not really there. Where's the self then from the object? Nothing is there as the self. Stay in this experience. Okay, this amazing experience. But what's the benefit of this meditation? Yes, just as this self dissolves in this experience of emptiness, even though sickness, aging, death, tension, depression, anxiety, anguish, the fear of coronavirus and so forth, they will all dissolve in the experience of emptiness if you succeed in this meditation. So these are all the mental disturbance, these are the mental sorrows. All the mental sorrows dissolve. When the mental sorrows dissolve, the opposite of the sorrow, which is the mental peace, arises. This is what the Buddha indicated as the 4th seal. Transcending sorrow is absolute peace. Stay in this experience. Wow, that's amazing. That's the greatest meaning of my life. Amazing. True? Stay in this experience, this aspiration that may I soon accomplish this experience of the emptiness where all my miseries dissolve, all my sorrows dissolve, and I experience the ultimate peace. Stay in this experience. This is the most refined understanding of renunciation. Renunciation, there are many ways of understanding it, very gross to the subtlest, gross, such as that you are freed from all your miseries, or that you are free from all contempt, karmas and afflictions, that you are free from self-grasping ignorance, that you are freed from the elaboration of the projections, where all the projections stop in the experience of emptiness. This is the subtlest understanding of the renunciation of nirvana. Stay in this experience. Okay, come out of this meditation. We now move to the bodhisattva practice. The bodhisattva practice, what we do is that we do it on the basis of, okay, but keep in mind that bodhisattva practice, there are two methods. The 7-fold cause-effect method to generate bodhicitta, and the method of equalizing and exchanging self for others to generate bodhicitta. There are these 2 methods there, and we have to practice these 2 methods. But here, due to the constraint, we have to finish everything within the short span of time. We do the 4 immeasurables, then followed by the bodhicitta commitment. So let us say that suffices our bodhicitta practice. But at home, it is advisable that we do the 2 methods. I personally always try to do the 2 methods. Okay, and in your case, you can do you can alternate between the 2 methods, or you can do both. Okay, so the 4 immeasurables. Ready? Reinforce the visualization of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in front of you. So loving, so caring, so embracing. Reinforce the visualizations of your 2 parents on your 2 sides, your children, your family members, and all dear mothers and human beings who are lost to this coronavirus and who are in the hospitals and who are being affected by this coronavirus. Everyone in this world, the human beings, the animals, the insects, the spirits, the hungry ghosts, hell beings, god and goddesses, everyone in this world, in this Milky Way galaxy, in the entire universe. And you are inspiring them to practice bodhicitta, and you are doing this meditation, then everybody joins you in this meditation. Okay, again it's going to be a guided meditation. This is going to be the practice of the 4 seals, And keep in mind that the practice that we are doing is like the practice of the music. When we practice music, when we train music, the initial few days, no music coming out, just random sounds of the keyboards, no music coming out of that, and then constantly practice consistently. Then over time, then the music starts to come. This is the meaning of training. This is the meaning of practice. Likewise, what you're doing may seem to be like the initial practice of music. No spontaneous feelings coming. All they are like so superficial. Yes, this is superficial. Because it is superficial, it's not naturally happening. We need training. We need practice. So therefore, this is known as practice and the training. So this is how we have to think. So with this in mind, the immeasurable loving kindness. How good would it be that all my dear Mother Sentient beings are endowed with happiness and the causes of happiness. May all my dear Mother Sentient beings be endowed with happiness and the causes of happiness. I'll take the responsibility that all my dear Mother Sentient beings are endowed with happiness and the causes of happiness. The Buddhist Bodhisattvas, witnessing the living is such a courageous commitment, the intense happiness and proud of you. This pride and happiness invoke the compassion of omniscient minds to send for nectars of soothing lights towards you and all dear Mother Sentient beings. A mere touch of lights and nectars with the body beings yours instills in all happiness and causes of happiness in the minds of sentient beings and yourself. And you, witnessing such a miracle is happening towards all the human sentient beings, you're intensely happy. Take 3 deep breaths, sighing with relief. Immeasurable compassion. How good would it be that all my dear Mother Sentient beings are freed from suffering and the causes of suffering. Causes of suffering primarily consist of self-grasping ignorance and their offshoots in the form of attachment, aversion, jealousy and so forth, and also the contaminant karmas, all the 10 non-vicious karmas and so forth. May all my dear Mother Sentient beings be freed from suffering and the cause of suffering. I'll take the responsibility that all my dear Mother Sentient beings are freed from suffering and the cause of suffering. The Buddhist Bodhisattvas, like a mother, after all these many years of hardships of raising children, today the eldest daughter, 12 years old, and eldest son, 11 years old, 2 of them come to the mother, telling the mother, please take rest. We're already grown up. We'll take care of all our siblings, all our 5 siblings. You have done everything for us till now. Please take rest. We'll take care of you also. And the mother could not believe her eyes and ears today. Tears rolling down her cheeks out of tremendous joy and love and pride. This is exactly what is happening to all Buddhist Bodhisattvas. They're so happy and proud of you today for you make such commitment. This pride and happiness invoke the compassion of omniscient minds to send for nectars of receiving lights, because you are all dear sentient beings. The mere touch of lights and nectars with the bodies beings yours frees the beings, or washes away all the miseries and cause of miseries from the sentient beings and yourself. And you, seeing this miracle happen with all the dear sentient beings, you're intensely happy. Take 3 deep breaths, sighing with relief. Next, immeasurable joy. How good would it be that all my dear mother sentient beings are never separated from happiness and the cause of the happiness that they are endowed with. May all my dear mother sentient beings never be separated from happiness and the causes of happiness that they are endowed with. I'll take the responsibility that all my dear mother sentient beings are never separated from happiness and the cause of the happiness that they are endowed with. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas witnessing the making such courageous commitment, they intensely happy and proud of you. This pride and happiness invoke the compassionate omniscient minds who send for nectars of bliss, soothing lights towards you in all time sentient beings. The mere touch of lights and nectars with the bodies beings of yours stabilizes the happiness and the cause of the happiness the beings are endowed with. And you witnessing such a miraculous happening towards all the different sentient beings, you're intensely happy. Take 3 deep breaths, silent relief. Next, immeasurable equanimity. How good would it be that all my dear mother sentient beings are freed from the biased attitude of excessive attachment towards some and aversion towards others, and instead abide in the great state of equanimity, embracing all other dear mother sentient beings equally, leaving none aside. May all my dear mother sentient beings be freed from the biased attitude of excessive attachment towards some and aversion towards others. I'll take the responsibility that all my dear mother sentient beings are freed from the biased attitude of excessive attachment to some and aversion towards others. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas witnessing the remaining such a courageous commitment, they intensely happy and proud of you. This pride and happiness invoke the Vajra moon, invoke the compassionate omniscient minds to send forth nectars of bliss, soothing lights towards you and all dear mother sentient beings. The mere touch of the lights and nectars with the bodies and beings of yours frees the beings from the biased attitude of excessive attachment towards some and aversion towards others, instead of making them abide in the great state of equanimity, embracing all other dear mother sentient beings equally, leaving none aside. Underscoring all the 4 immeasurables is unconditional love towards all beings. Imagine that you are looking at the eyes of each of the sentient beings with so much intense love and affection, to the extent that each one of them feels themselves as so special in your eyes. Just abide in this unconditional love that you feel towards all beings. Okay, I will make a line of commitment, and you all join me with this commitment 3 times. I'll say this once and then we'll all say this 3 times together. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. This is the most beautiful mind of bodhicitta, the most beautiful mind that can possibly exist in this universe, and today you have generated this. Slowly transform this beautiful mind of bodhicitta into a spotlessly clean moon disk, 1 inch or 1.5 inches in diameter, horizontally sitting in the heart. Okay, it's amazing that you made such a courageous commitment to become Buddha for the benefit of all dear mother sentient beings. But what guarantees that you can become Buddha? Or in other words, no matter how much you squeeze a handful of sand, no oil will come out of that. Yes, that's true. But I'm not like a handful of sand. I'm like a handful of sunflower seeds, squeezing which they all will come out of that, of the Buddha nature within me, which, if removed the mental defilements, will manifest in the full form of Buddhahood. Well, why not? Since time immemorial till now, you have become Buddha, if that potential is within you. That's true. Till now, I've been deceived by the two demons, self-grasping, ignorance, self-centered attitude. Today, I'm disillusioned by that. Okay. How to eradicate them? By introducing a very strong counterforce. What is that? The wisdom of emptiness. What is this wisdom of emptiness? Okay. Let us quickly retrieve the experience of emptiness, which we meditated as the third seal, as a part of the four seals. Okay, what are you doing? I'm meditating. And how does the self appear to you? As so objectively real. Okay, but you know that you are constituted with 6 elements: earth, water, fire, air, space, and consciousness. Tell me, which of the 6 elements is this person? None. If none of these 6 elements, remove them. What is left there as self? None. Nothing there as a self. Remove the 6 elements. Then where is the from the object? Where is the self? There isn't the self there from the object. It's just the 6 elements and nothing really there. Okay, from the object there's no self there. What I earlier saw as a self is so objectively real. This is illusion. Yes, it's not there. Stay in this experience. This is the most fearless mind of the universe, the wisdom of emptiness. Although it can be very gross at the moment, of course later on through more consistent studies and reflection, you will get to the very fine, amazing and profound experience of emptiness. Although it can be very gross at the moment, it doesn't matter. Okay, slowly transform this fearless mind of the wisdom of emptiness that you have generated now into a spotless, clean, white Vajra, thumb-sized white Vajra, vertically sitting at the moon at your heart. Okay, it's amazing. That's wonderful. Yes, then what about all my dear sentient beings? They are suffering terribly, yes, with a tremendous, incredible compassion and loving kindness towards the beings. This compassion and loving kindness invoke the Vajra in your heart, to multiply infinite number of times. Share one set of the Vajra moon at the heart of your mother, one set at the heart of your father, one set with each one of your children, your family members, and everyone, with each and everyone in this world, in this Milky Way galaxy, in this universe, human beings, animals, insects, spirits, God and goddesses, hungry ghosts, hell beings, everyone is amazing. Now they have the moon test, symbolic of the conventional bodhicitta, which is the ultimate remedy to overcome the self-centered attitude. And a Vajra, the symbolic of the ultimate bodhicitta, which is the final remedy to overcome all the mental stains, including the self-grasping, ignorance, self-centered attitude, cognitive obscuration, and so forth. It's amazing. Wonderful. Let us not forget that all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they're watching us. That's true. Why not we request them? Why not we request them to be our witness and our guests to our undertaking the ceremony of observing the Aspirational Bodhisattva vow. So I suggest you making the request to all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Now the solo stand up. Now slowly stand up to make 3 prostrations to all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. As we make prostrations, you visualize that all dear Mother Sentient beings, they are joining you, and you make the prostrations. As we do this, if I'm doing the full length prostration, you can make the half length prostration, the short form prostration, whichever is convenient to you, you can do that. And those who have knee problem, don't worry. Okay, 3 prostrations together. Okay, now we'll all sit on your right knees, and in the beginning we can begin with the sit on right knees. Meanwhile, if you feel the pain, then you can sit in a comfortable position. Okay. Let us turn to page 50. We'll read the first stanza 3 times, and as we read this, this is preparing. Otherwise, you can use this very stanza to take the Aspirational Bodhisattva vow, or even the Engaged Bodhisattva vow, if you have already taken the Engaged Bodhisattva vow from a teacher. Otherwise, you can use this for taking the Aspirational Bodhisattva vow. And we're doing a little more elaborate with 3 stanzas together. This stanza, I'm going to quickly explain the meaning. And as we say this, we make sure that meanings are reflected. Go for refuge to the Triple Gem. So here, because this is a journey of enlightenment, Buddhahood, which is the greatest of the journey. So therefore, we need to help, support, the greatest of the support. And the greatest of the support is the Triple Gem, the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. So we seek their help. And then it says, I confess the negativities individually. When undertaking journey, the road must not be blocked. So the road is none. The road to Buddhahood is none other than your mind. So we have to remove the obstacles like the boulder, the trees, the fallen. On the road we have to clear them. So there's trees and boulders. They are like the mental defilements. So we have to remove the mental defilements. And one of the easiest, the most efficient way by which to do so is confessing the negativities, confessing the mental defilements. So number 2 says, confess the negativities individually. Now the road is very clear, but if the car does not have the fuel, again we cannot undertake the journey. So the car is none other than only mind, and this mind should have the enough fuel of the merit. So there is a need for the tremendous accumulation of merit in order to undertake this journey. So the best way by which to accumulate enormous amount of merit within a short span of time, it is by rejoicing in the virtues of others. So the third line says, I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. So now the road is clear and the car has enough fuel. What kind of journey are you going to undertake? The journey of Buddhahood. The last line says, I hold the precious Buddhahood in my heart. Okay, let's say this 3 times together wholeheartedly, and you are leading this, and imagine your 2 parents, your family members, your children, and every single, all, including those who passed away, who died to this coronavirus and who are in the hospitals. Everyone is taking part in this because of your encouragement. Okay, and you are leading this. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddhahood in my heart. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddhahood in my heart. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddhahood in my heart. The next 2 stanzas, the actual ceremony. So we begin by invoking the Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas to pay heed to us. And the 2 stanzas, the first stanza is pertaining to the Buddhas who already became Buddhas, and the second stanza pertains to us. And the first stanza says that how, for example, Buddha Shakyamuni, one young Prince Siddhartha, how come that he succeeded in eventually become a Buddha to benefit all the dear sentient beings over the last 2,500 years time. Just this one person, one Prince Siddhartha, he is able to help billions of beings to lead them from the state of misery, samsara, to nirvana and Buddhahood. Wow, this is amazing. How succeeded he? How did he succeed in this? Because of 2 factors: initial motivation and the actual implementation. Initial motivation, that he generated a very strong motivation bodhicitta, that I will become Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Then to materialize this aspiration of the bodhicitta, he engaged in the bodhisattva practices like the 6 perfections, perfection of generosity, ethical discipline, patience, enthusiasm, meditative concentration, and wisdom. And then the plus form, skillfulness, aspiration prayer, power, and the primordial wisdom. So 10 perfections. If this is how he succeeded and now being able to benefit infinite number of beings towards the Buddhahood or towards the ultimate happiness and fearlessness, I will also follow his footsteps. 1, by generating very strong bodhicitta, and then number 2, to materialize the aspiration bodhicitta, I will also engage in the bodhisattva practices like the 6 perfections and 4 perfections, making 10. This is what we're going to do. And during the 3rd repetition, the last line, when you say, and likewise shall I too engage in the bodhisattva practices, when you say that, imagine that you receive the aspiration bodhisattva vow, and of course you are very fortunate, we are all very fortunate that we are receiving this vow on the very extremely holy, sacred, the day of the Buddha, the Vesak day. Okay, and so this is how we should be following. Ready? And then you are reading this, and all the dear sentient beings, they are joining you through your encouragement, through your the persuasion, and all the Buddhist Bodhisattvas, they are watching us. Where the parents, when they see that their child, the very young child, age 5 or age 6, for the first time in her or in his life, making a public appearance representing the school for a dance and song. Then they a little nervous, but the parents, they leave everything behind to join in the audience, to waving their hands to you, saying that we are here, we are so proud of you. This is exactly what all the Buddhist Bodhisattvas they are doing today. That you are like this young girl, young boy, making the first public appearance, brings something so, a great pride to your parents, and the parents, Buddhists and Bodhisattvas, they're waving their hands to you, reassuring you that they are watching you. So this is exactly what you're doing. Okay. Gurus, Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, please pay heed to me. Just as the previous Buddhas have generated the mind of bodhicitta, and just as they successively dwelled in the Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successively train in the Bodhisattva practices. Okay, so if you feel a little painful, your knees feeling pain, then sit comfortably. Gurus, Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, please pay heed to me. Just as the previous Buddhas have generated the mind of bodhicitta, and just as they successively dwelled in the Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successively train in the Bodhisattva practices. Gurus, Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, please pay heed to me. Just as the previous Buddhas have generated the mind of bodhicitta, and just as they successively dwelled in the Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successively dwell in the Bodhisattva practices. Okay, feel the joy over having experienced, over having received Aspirational Bodhisattva vow. You are so happy, so proud, so happy today. Okay. The Buddhist Bodhisattvas, they are likewise so happy, so proud of what you did today. Imagine what the Buddhist Bodhisattvas they are feeling today. Your mother, who after all these many years of hearing only complaints from the school about you, about her, the daughter and the son. And today the school principal comes to the mother. And the mother again expecting some complaints from the principal. This time it's a little different. Again the mother asks, any complaint about my son and daughter? Principal, no. We came here to congratulate you. Your daughter and your son, 2 of them are appointed as the best the students of our school for this year. The mother could not believe her eyes and ears. This is exactly what is happening today. All the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they are so proud of us today. So since time immemorial till now, we have been bringing only embarrassment to the Buddhist Bodhisattvas while they want us to engage in virtues and be free from suffering and to have the infinite happiness, but if we always do the opposite, we continue to suffer, where the mother feels always being bogged down of seeing the children suffering. But today, the mother hearing something very different, so pleasant to hear. This is exactly what all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas they are feeling today. They are so happy, proud of what you've done and how you have inspired all these infinite sentient beings to take their spiritual Bodhisattva vow on this holy, very sacred day of the Vesak day. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they are so proud and happy of you. And this pride and happiness invoke the Vajra moon at their hearts, the full-fledged Vajra moon at their hearts, to multiply infinite number of times. With tremendous love and affection, they send these replicas of Vajra moon towards you and towards all the dimensional beings in barrage like rain shower. All these millions and trillions of the Vajra moon from the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they descend and merge for the one that visualize your heart, becoming non-dual, stabilized and blessed. Likewise, in barrage like rain shower, the millions and trillions of Vajra moons, they descend and merge for the one that you visualize at the heart of mother, at the heart of father, at the heart of each one of your family members, including children, each of the sentient beings, everyone, the Vajra moon at their hearts, which we have given them. They are all being blessed, they are being stabilized by the Vajra moon from the trillions of Vajra moons from all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Amazing. If there is one moment that you can, that is worth celebration, today is this moment. And this is the greatest of the gift that you can possibly think of making to the sentient beings. And today, you have gifted them with this greatest gift. And of the innumerable offerings that you can think of to offer to all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, the Buddha made it very clear that one moment of generating compassion to sentient beings far excels the gifts of the whole universe filled with the gems and offered to all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. If this is the case, what I mentioned of our taking the Aspirational Bodhisattva vow today, this is incredibly great gift, the greatest of the gift that one can possibly imagine in this universe that you're making to all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. And today you have made it. It's amazing. And this is the wisest of your approach, wisest of your activities. And this is the best way by which to extract the meaning, to give a meaning to your life. And today you have gifted yourself with this meaning of the life, of awakening your Buddha nature. This is amazing. This is something which deserves to be celebrated. And this all happened because of the kindness of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. So as a gesture of thanking all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas for making this happen, along with all the sentient beings, let us all stand up to make 3 prostrations to all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas as a gesture of thanking them. Okay, please take your seats comfortably. Please sit comfortably. Okay, let us turn to page 51. Now, indeed, this is the greatest meaning. If this is what we can do collectively, this is extremely efficient way of creating a collective positive karma, and this is the best way by which to combat the widespread coronavirus effects. This is how we can help the people who died to this coronavirus. This is how we can help the people in the hospitals because of this coronavirus, the illness, and then this is how we can heal all the people who are affected by the coronavirus. So this is what we need to encourage others. We can spread like a ripple effect to all the beings to make it, to generate this kind-hearted bodhicitta and the wisdom of emptiness. Okay, so this is so precious. We are so fortunate. One, because of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, who bless us, who's a living Buddha today on this earth, who always blesses us, and that the Buddhas, the very sacred days on the same day, happening on the same day, and because of all these factors, now this is happening, we are very fortunate. But what about on this practice, the connection with this practice in the next lives? Whether or not that's going to happen, we are not sure. So how to make it happen? So that in the next lives also, we succeed in meeting with this brilliant practice of bodhicitta and of wisdom of emptiness, and to continue this, take it forward in the form of gati, para samgati, bodhisvaha, and eventually make your Buddha nature manifest fully to benefit all sentient beings. How to do that? Through two ways. One effort required, two efforts, one effort required to make a connection, to be connected with this incredibly precious teachings from Buddha or the bodhicitta wisdom of emptiness in the next life, to feel connected. The second effort, once connected, then how to sustain it and rigorously engage in this practice. Two, to build a connection, the effort to build a connection, we need to include a very powerful prayers that we be connected out of tremendous admiration, out of tremendous feeling of the value of this practice. We include them in a very powerful the prayers that we be connected to the next life. For that matter, we've included one stanza here. We're going to say this 3 times. Okay, let's say this 3 times. Page 51. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by the compassionate Buddha and be able to uphold the two precious bodhicittas even at the cost of my life. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by the compassionate Buddha and be able to uphold the two precious bodhicittas even at the cost of my life. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by the compassionate Buddha and be able to uphold the two precious bodhicittas even at the cost of my life. Okay. Now, once connected, then how to rigorously engage in this practice so that this journey happens so swiftly. For that matter, the effort required is to, in this life, try to build the joy, to feel the joy of the practice of the bodhicitta wisdom and emptiness. For the following stanzas are extracted from Bodhisattva Shantideva's book, Guided Bodhisattva's Way of Life. We can recite it there. Okay, and try to invoke the various experiences of the joy. In order to further increase the bodhicitta from now on, those with discernment who have lucidly seized an awakened mind in bodhicitta in this way should highly praise it in the following manner. Today my life has borne fruit. Having well obtained this human existence, I've been born in the family of the Buddha and now am one of Buddha's children. Thus whatever actions I do from now on must be in accord with the family. Never shall I disgrace or pollute this noble and unsullied race. Just like a blind man discovering a jewel in a heap of rubbish, likewise by some coincidence an awakening mind has been born within me. It's the supreme ambrosia that overcomes the sovereignty of death. It is the inexhaustible treasure that eliminates all poverty in the world. It's the supreme medicine that quells the world's disease. It's the tree that shelters all beings wandering and tired on the path of conditioned existence. It's the universal bridge that leads to freedom from unhappy states of birth. It's the dawning moon of the mind that dispels the torment of disturbing conceptions. It's the great sun that finally removes the misty ignorance of the world. It's the quintessential butter from the churning of the milk of Dharma. For all those guests traveling on the path of conditioned existence who wish to experience the bounties of happiness, this will satisfy them with joy and actually place them in supreme bliss. Today, in the presence of all the protectors, I invite the world to be guests at a festival of temporary and ultimate delight. May gods, demigods, and all be joyful. Okay, so before we conclude, we will recite some mantras. And as we recite mantras, whatever this mantra is, whatever deity this mantra is associated with, you visualize the deity either on your crown or in front of you, and then as you recite mantra, imagine that the deity is sending forth nectars, and nectars of wisdom of emptiness, nectar of bodhicitta, through the crown, throat, and the heart, towards you and towards all the sentient beings, everyone who passed away, who died to this coronavirus, everyone who is in the hospital, and everyone who badly affected, all sentient beings. They receive these nectars, and then the two demons inside, self-grasping, the self-centered attitude, along with the disease, they're all being washed away and they are healed. Okay, let's do this. First, Buddha Shakyamuni mantra. Om Muni Muni Maha Muni Swaha. 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 Next, medicine Buddha mantra. Yatha Om Begaze Begaze Maha Begaze Begaze Ranza Samungade Swaha. So next, Maha Begaze Begaze. In some version, it's just one. Maha Begaze Ranza Samungade Swaha. Both should go right. Yatha Om Begaze Begaze Maha Begaze Begaze Ranza Samungade Swaha. Yatha Om Begaze Begaze Maha Begaze Begaze Ranza Samungade Swaha. Yatha Om Begaze Begaze Maha Begaze Begaze Ranza Samungade Swaha. Yatha Om Begaze Begaze Maha Begaze Begaze Ranza Samungade Swaha. Yatha Om Begaze Begaze Maha Begaze Begaze Ranza Samungade Swaha. Yatha Om Begaze Begaze Maha Begaze Begaze Ranza Samungade Swaha. Next, Aritara mantra. Om Dare Tu Dare Dure Swaha. 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 Next, the Avalokiteshvara mantra. Om Mani Beme Ho, 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 Om Mani Beme Ho. Next, Aramajushri mantra. Om Arabazanade, 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 Om Arabazanade. Om Arabazana Didi 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 Om Arabazana De. Next, Guru Padmasambhava mantra. Om Benza Guru Bema Sede Om 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 Om Benza Guru Bema Sede. Okay, we'll do the end dedication prayer. I don't know which, if you have it, if you have the whole book, you have it. Otherwise, otherwise you can listen to this as I read it. You can listen to this. Karirawe gorwe shingamsu pendan dewa malu chungbe ne chere sinwa tenze ngyazo yin shabe side bardu tengyuro chi. In the book it is page 288. In the land encircled by snow mountains, you are the source of all happiness and good. All powerful changes the Tenzin Gyatso, please remain until samsara ends. Just as the brave Manjushri and Samadhi too realize things as they are, also I dedicate all these merits in the best way that I may follow their perfect example. I dedicate all these rules of virtue with the dedication praised as the best by all the Buddhas who appear in the 3 times, so that I might perform the noble Bodhisattva's deeds. 전주 삼조렘 보지여 마게 바남게 규로지 여바냐마야메바야 고네 곤도 페바라이쇼. May the Supreme Bodhicitta, there is not arisen and arising grow, and may that which is arisen not diminish but increase forevermore. As long as space remains, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. Due to the merits of these virtuous actions, may I quickly attain to the state of Guru Buddha and lead all beings without exception into that enlightened state. I dedicate the merit thus gathered towards the realization of the deeds and the prayers of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the three times, and to the upholding of the Dharma teaching and realization. May I, in all life, through the force of this merit, never separate from the four wheels of the Mahayana vehicle, and accomplish all the stages of the path, renunciation, bodhicitta, perfect in the two stages. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. May the poor find wealth, those weak with sorrow find joy. May the forlorn find new hope, constant happiness and prosperity. May all who are sick and ill quickly be relieved, quickly be freed from the illness, and may every disease in the world never occur again. May the frightened ones cease to be afraid, and those bound be freed. And may the powerless find power, and may people think of benefiting one another. By the merits I've accumulated, may every single being abandon all forms of wrongdoing and perpetually engage in virtue. May they never be parted from the mind of bodhicitta, and may they always engage in the bodhisattva's conduct. May they be cared for by the Buddhas and relinquish the actions of devils. May no living creatures ever suffer, commit wrong, or ever fall ill. May no one be afraid or belittled, or their minds ever be depressed. May all the pains of living creatures ripen solely upon myself, and through the might of the Bodhisattva Sangha, may all beings experience happiness. Having dispelled all inner and outer obstacles and downfalls, such as poverty, despair, oppression, cruelty, epidemics, and natural disasters due to environmental degradation, may all beings forever enjoy the glory of peace and happiness. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate my full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. I go for refuge to the triple gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddhahood in my heart. By the power of practicing and supplicating to you, may all be free from sickness, poverty, and conflicts. And may Dharma and auspiciousness proliferate in all the places where we abide. The path of union by emptiness and compassion is lucidly explained by the protector of both the Dharma and the beings of the land of snows. With the lotus soul of Tenzin Gyatso, we supplicate you that your wishes are fulfilled spontaneously. May the operations of evil thoughts and deeds of the negative forces of humans and non-humans, who harbor malice through perverted prayers against the teachings of the Buddhas, be totally vanquished through the power of the truth of the three jewels. By the dependent realization of the profound suchness of the appearance and emptiness, together with the force of great compassion of the three jewels and the power of the truth, and through the virtue of the infallible law of karmas and the fruits, may this fruitful prayer of ours be unhindered and quickly fulfilled. May the teaching of this benevolent one till world's end be unshaken by the winds of evil thoughts. May it always be met by innumerable beings who find conviction in the teacher by understanding the teaching's true nature. May I never falter even for an instant to uphold the excellent way of the Buddhas, which illuminates the principle of dependent origination through all my births, even giving away my body and life. May I spend day and night carefully reflecting by what means can I enhance this teaching achieved by the Supreme Savior through strenuous efforts over countless eons. In all my lives never separated from perfect gurus, may I enjoy the magnificent Dharma by completing the qualities of the stages and the paths, may I quickly attain the state of Vajradhara. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by Ramajishri and be able to uphold the Dharma in general and the teachings on dependent origination in particular, even at the cost of my life. Okay, we will conclude with the Heart Sutra mantra three times, and then let us imagine that your two parents, your children, your family members, all sentient beings who passed away to the coronavirus and who are in the hospital, and everyone, all sentient beings, we all, by the practice of bodhicitta, wisdom and emptiness, we traverse along this path of cleansing the mind and awakening Buddha nature to the final accomplishment, which is the consummate state of enlightenment, Buddhahood. Deyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhisvahatyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhisvahatyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhisvaha. And it is said that if we accumulate merits and virtues on this day, or in other words, on the holy sacred days, and then the merits accumulated will be exponentially multiplied. Okay, so all of you be happy and have very happy, virtuous Buddha Purnima day. Thank you. Bye bye.